Jackie, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so
Of
excited to have you on.
of course. Thank you for having me.
So, first things first, tell me your name and your company.
So, Jackie Bonfiglio, and I have a couple companies. So, we do the ROC City Cannabis Carnival, which I founded and organized. Then I partially own hashtag Hydro Inc. with my husband, Rob. And then I also own a genetics company, ROC City Genetics, which we specialize in clones and seeds. So I got a
Pretty
couple.
busy.
My hand kind of in a lot of different pots, pun intended.
So, tell me a little bit about the ROC City Cannabis Carnival. How did this get started and what has it been like?
It's a fucking roller coaster. It's never what I thought it was gonna be. Everything I had hoped and dreamed it to be, but you never think your dreams are going to come true like that. So we had gone to one in Buffalo held by Mayor of Buffalo, Queen City Sesh, and he had been doing a couple of them, and he was so open and so inviting, told us to come check it out. He knew we wanted to do one because my husband's been in the growing industry for well over 10 years. So he knows the growers in the industry. So we knew it'd be pretty easy to get vendors, but how does the whole thing work? Like, it's a very gray area. So after we saw him do that, I'm very OCD, and I've planned a lot of events and our wedding and a ton of other things. So I knew I could really get it down. But again, we anticipated, I think we passed out 2,000 flyers for the first one in September, and there was no one had to pay for a ticket. So there was no incentive for people to come. So we really anticipated, we're like, all right, high end 2,000 people come or so. We had just shy of 5,000 show up. So it was honestly incredible. And I mean, there's this one picture I look back on where I stand right there in the beginning and I'm just kind of looking at everything. And it's going to make me cry again. It really is. It's just so heartwarming to know that's what you created. And again, like I said, I'm very OCD. So I controlled everything and I had my hands in everything, but our friends and family were huge, especially day of, helping with everything and getting it going. And then after the success of the first one in September, we knew we just had to keep going. And the Armory had actually reached out to us wanting to do a winter one. So we said, we have a fantastic lawyer. So she handled everything legality wise for us. Thankfully, she's incredible, Rachel. I think she's more my friend than my lawyer. I have to remember she is my lawyer. Sometimes those friendly chats, I think, add me up, but that's all right. That's all right. I like her. So, and then the Armory one, yeah, it just went so successful. So currently now she's helping us lock in a location for a spring one we'll do in mid to end May. But yeah, I've become obsessed with it. As it started as just like a small thing that I never knew would grow into this. And I've just become obsessed with making it run more smoothly and attracting more people and, getting more, exposure to Western New York, really making it a destination to show people like, look at the amazing cannabis we have right in our backyard. And that's all we ever wanted to do, was just showcase the cannabis industry in Western New York, which is just thriving. And it has been, as they like to call us, the legacy market, which is really cute and sweet of them, the government to do. But it's been going on for so long that we really need to enlighten the rest of the world to it.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of response just tells you how much people are looking for and craving these kind of events and this kind of socialization.
Well, and it's tough too, because it's very tough for people. Like my parents are a great example, somebody they don't smoke, they're not into, cannabis of any sort. So if they want to try it, because it's become legal and it's become a new fad and everything, and now there are certain regulations coming into place, if they want to try it, right now it's, it would be very difficult for them if I wasn't their daughter. It'd be very difficult for them to be able to safely find an avenue for it. And that's also what we discovered too. I mean, we have quite a bit of people who come into our hydro store who are like, I've your carnivals have helped me because, I used to have to go to the city and, get stuff that I don't know what it is. And, now they can safely find it. And if something is wrong or if it's not what they like, they can go back to the person and they know directly who it is. And a lot of our vendors take this as, almost like, without sounding, to step on their toes, like almost like they are doctors. They really look at, okay, do you have anxiety? Do you have depression and eating disorder? They really try and hone in on strains and what's going to help people. And that's what it is. And that's also what we're trying to bring to light, is breaking that stigma of it just being something enjoyable to smoke. It really is an amazing medical component. And that's what a lot of our vendors do. And they specialize in.
Do you know how many people, just like off the top of your head, came to your winter event?
We did, I think 4,000.
That's huge for an indoor winter event, especially around here because weather gets miserable.
Yeah, that was the issue. We had a lot of people saying that we oversold the tickets, and unfortunately, we did not oversell the tickets. We had it very spaced out at how many the Armory could fit. Everyone just showed up right at 2 to 4 p.m. Literally everyone showed up right to 2 to 4 p.m. So like I told my husband, the first thing I'm doing is for the spring carnival, there's like minimum 6 lines of entry, like minimum 6 lines. But that's the thing, just keep learning from each one and improving and going on from that. But yeah, it was amazing to see. And the Armory was so baked out too, which was
I saw photos. Oh my God, it was hazy in there.
It was amazing. People pass me, joints and everything all day being like, have you smoked? And I'm like, all you have to do is like fucking breathe in here and you're high. Like I had hired aerialists to perform from like 3 to 7 or 3 to 6 or something. And they had to stop an hour early and I told them this at the beginning. I was like, listen, if you get too high, like your safety is my number one priority. Like just stop. Like, I don't care if you guys stop early. It's not going to make or break anything. And they came to me and they're like, we're all getting to that point where it's too much in here. And I was like, totally cool. Let's break it down.
Safety first. And
that's the thing. But it was just, it was a lot of fun. It was a blast. And yeah, to see it and I thought they were going to tell us to stop smoking and shut it down. And surprisingly, they didn't. So I guess we paid them enough to let it happen. That was our number one thing though, too, is that we were to find an indoor location where we have to be able to smoke inside. Like we're like, we have to. So they posted like non-smoking posters that day to like cover themselves in case. And then we just gave them a nice bonus as the smoke continued to increase.
As the gray cloud got lower and lower and lower.
You couldn't see past, like you got to like literally you stood at that entryway of the Armory and you looked in and you couldn't even see past like the first 3 booths. It was amazing. It was amazing. It was probably one of my proudest moments. Something sad to be proud of, but it's definitely up there in my top 5. Because I've gone to shows there since I was like 8.
Yeah.
So to see it happen, you know what I mean? It's just, and there's always been some smoking going on there. So I was like, no, I think we'll be okay here.
Yeah, that is a concert venue that is going to get a little bit smoky.
So enjoy a little while we're on.
So tell me about your personal journey with cannabis. How did you come to this point where you were putting on events?
So I've always been an avid cannabis smoker, probably since I was like 17. And I think I break the stigma. Like I graduated high school a year early. I went to Temple University. So I was one of those people where like, I felt like I really break the stigma of cannabis because I'm a pothead through and through, fucking stoner in the morning till stoner at night, through and through. And yet, you know what I mean? I still got things done, but it helped a lot. I had some eating issues in high school, so it helped quite a bit with that. And then I moved around quite a bit by myself. So with anxiety and being alone, again, it really helped with that. I always just felt a sense of comfort and relaxation with it. And it just sort of continued from there. Like, a lot of my friends do yoga, and I associate this as my yoga. They're always like, this is my time to relax. This is my deep breathing. And I'm like, well, this is exactly it for me. I'm like, yours just takes longer. Mine doesn't. I can get mine done in like 5-10 minutes. Yours probably takes at least 30. And it's always just been something I was really, it's always just helped in different aspects of my life. And I don't think I'd ever be able to go without it. And then kind of just getting here, my husband and I went to high school together. And like I said, he's always been a grower. So he's always, helped educate me and, learn more about the actual plant and, what it is and how, it affects you in different sort of ways and everything. But sadly, I have a terrible black thumb. So I can't like ferns, aloe plants, succulents. I kill everything. So not a grower. Not at all. Like, not a grower. I'll help maintain, but I am just not a grower. So yeah. And then I think, like I said, just one of our things with this carnival is really just breaking the stigma of it all. And I think that's what it's really about. All the sort of people that come together. And that's just what I wanted to do, is to show that it's not, this party drug that people think it is. It's not the reefer madness that was shown on TV, in the 70s and 80s to scare everybody. It's something that is so beneficial to people in every avenue of their lives that that's all we really wanted to do.
So what's one thing in the cannabis industry that you're seeing right now that you're excited about?
Probably just legalization in general. I mean, it would just, legalization in general. I never thought that I have 2 kids, 3 and 1. So to be able to raise them in a world where, it's a joint is just as acceptable as a beer is going to be fantastic. You know what I mean? And that's, again, bringing it back to just the stigma and breaking it all. But honestly, just legalization and seeing all the, really just the new ways people are using the product, RSO oil becoming really big, and, people like, hands down, the only lotion I'll use now is any THC infused lotion because of my back issues, and it works hands down incredible. I use the one from Trappe. They do a CBD THC one, and it's just amazing. But even things like that, you know what I mean? So just the new products that are coming out, and it just being able to help in everyday life.
Yeah, absolutely. All these ways to use it that you don't necessarily have to take time to sit there, roll up a joint, smoke it, and wait. You can put lotion on, you can have a drink, you can have an oil.
Tea has been my new thing too.
Yes.
Tea's been my big one lately. Just another one just to relax. I have a friend who does the fancy fucking tea. Like, so there's like orange peels and shit in there and like flower petals. And I'm like, all right, whatever. Like, this is too much for me. I'm used to like a Lipton tea bag, but okay. So I put it in my coffee maker, and then I'll put the bud in the part as well too. And then I use my girlfriend, like Carrie, she has the V Experience, the bougie stoner, and she does an infused honey that is just to die for. And then I use Big Bud's can of sugar. So it's like it's literally every aspect of it is all infused. And it's literally my favorite, especially at like 9 o'clock at night. I have a glass of that and I'm done.
Ready for bed.
Ready for bed, which is what I need because I'm not a great sleeper. So it's, again, another way it just helps you. And that's the thing too. It's like, I'm not getting high. I'm just getting relaxed enough, and then melatonin's kicking in, and you don't need to get blitzed out of your mind. It just, like I said, it helps in different avenues.
Yeah, absolutely. So on the other end of that spectrum, what's something you're seeing in the industry right now that you're not a fan of?
Um, all this, all this shit that's labeled for children and looks like it's for kids. The infused cereal and, the candies. And I get it. It's a great idea. It sells, people love it. But I mean, we saw it with the vape industry. I mean, people were doing all those crazy flavors in the vape industry and, they finally got the regulations on it. It just needs to be more, as any industry, it just needs to be more child safe, not directing it specifically towards them. It's going to be very easy for a child to see a bag that looks like Cinnamon Toast Crunch that's infused and grab it, not knowing. And again, that's on every parent to ensure that it's not in reach and everything like that. But again, I think it's just a little bit too directed towards kids.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that there's a little bit of a debate right now about these co-opting the brands like the Doritos and the Cheetos and the cereals because, they're not for kids, but these brands are for kids.
Exactly. And that's the thing. And and the issue is that they're good. Like I've tasted them. They're freaking delicious. Like that Cinnamon Toast Crunch one I love because I love Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but it's just, they're even if it's got to be then a different packaging. It can't be something you can open like a damn Ziploc bag then. You know what I mean? We're going to have to get into these child tampered, and safe proof containers. I mean, if people want to become legit brands and legit vendors, they're going to have to look into and take a step ahead of what we know regulations are going to become. And I think that's just, it's going to be out there. People are still going to sell the infused candy. They're going to sell the infused cereal. It's just about, like I said, getting it in a more child safe container.
Yeah, absolutely.
That they can't easily open. Like I said, it's a Ziploc bag pretty much. Some of them are tougher than others. I'm not going to lie. I have trouble opening some of the bags. Take a scissor and scissors. I'm like, fuck this, I'll cut it. But still, they're too easy.
Yeah, especially for a determined kid who wants some like sweets or something.
Yeah, if I left it to my 3-year-old, she would get that shit open. She'd find a way. She would find a way. She'd use her teeth. She would get it open.
Kids are determined.
Oh yeah, they are. Yeah, they are.
So something you've touched on a lot is breaking down the stigma. And I think that ties in with something I see a lot in the cannabis industry about social equity and pushing for inclusion of all communities. So how are you guys working for that in the industry?
We're always making sure that our vendors we're getting and they are of every aspect. We keep our sponsorship levels low enough for somebody emerging into the market, and somebody who wants to, go higher up as well too. But we again want to make sure that everybody who is local and participating in this and has been in the industry, gets their fair shot. And there's the amount of people of social equity that are in the cannabis industry is endless. It's not hard to include them if you just try. It's just about looking at we take applications for the carnival now just because we've had so much interest. So it's very easy for us to go through and sort of make sure that we are including people of social equity in any way we can, whether it's from their economic background, their racial background, whatever it may be, their criminal background. We also had Senator Cooney at the Winter Carnival, which was unbelievable. And his major thing was talking about the social equity or the expungement program. And that's another thing too, so any way we can try and, help the cannabis community is what we're going to try and do. And whether it's social equity and making sure that we have, enough vendors and applicants to range, the diversity or, helping with the expungement program.
Yeah, Senator Cooney is such an awesome advocate for legal cannabis in this state. We are so lucky to have him.
We really are. He needs a bigger district, damn people. So but he really is. He's fantastic. And he gets where we're coming from. We want to keep the money here. Like the talent is here. The people are here. They can do it. You just have to give them that little freedom to let them know, hey, do your thing. And we'll back you. You know what I mean? I think that's what's scaring people, is that they've done this and they want to be, one of the first, and they want to be on top, but they don't know legality wise, how is it going to come around to them?
Yeah, absolutely. And he's done such a good job of helping things keep moving in Rochester and ensure that we are going to see the benefits of legal cannabis here.
Yeah, he's a major component on our side, someone we definitely need to keep in office, because the opponent this year is very anti-cannabis. So it's just,
that's a damn shame.
Not gonna help. Don't want to take 4 steps backwards after we just took 10 forwards. You know what I mean? It still doesn't help us.
Yeah. So what do you see the future of the cannabis industry as right now?
In New York, or
Yeah, in New York.
I think it'll be a lot more small mom and pop shops. I don't think it'll be as commercialized as California. I think we'll obviously have big money come in. You're going to have it. I mean, there's no way to keep it out. But I think that we've all done a very good job at getting ahead of the whole movement. Syracuse is amped up their, event game, and they're constantly going on in Rochester and Buffalo, and people are opening these little like clubs and stuff. That's what's really going to help, is just people constantly seeing the different vendors in the community, and that's what's going to help them open up shop. So I'm really hoping that, at least what I'm hoping happens, is that it is a lot more, small mom and pop shops, something almost like liquor stores more, you know what I mean? Like you have, 6, 7 liquor stores in one town, but they're all small. You know what I mean? They all kind of do their own thing, and everyone kind of has their own preference. And I'm hoping that's what it'll be. This way we can, again, spread out the wealth to everybody, because there are many home growers in the area. So many. So it'd be nice. And I think with the micro licensing and how they structured everything, I think a lot of people will go for that micro licensing, and that's where it is. I think it's like under 2,000 square feet.
Yeah, it's very small business parameters.
Do not quote me on that part. I think it's under 2,000 square feet for micro license. And I think that's what a lot of people will be able to handle size wise and financially for the license. The only issue is that it's a lot like a gun license. If you're not approved, then there goes the money. They don't give it back. No, why would they?
No, I love that you compared it to liquor shops, because I've also heard it compared to like wineries. How many wineries do we have in the Finger Lakes? How many breweries do we have? And there's still more coming because people want it.
Exactly. That micro brewing has been insane. And in the past, like 5 years, we've popped up how many, and they're each so different from the last. And that's what cannabis is. It's so different that everyone just specializes in their own. Someone can grow fully organics, somebody not growing fully organic. Are they doing all indicas, all sativas, hybrids? Like that's where it's really going to come down to. Even the way people cure it, everyone's just going to have a preference, and it's just going to be, hopefully we'll make it the Finger Lakes, with wineries, and we'll start doing cannabis tours and stuff like that.
Yes.
That would be pretty awesome.
That would be
cool.
And it's so good for the market to have that variety that you get with the smaller businesses too, because the big companies, they want to do the same thing row after row after row. And the micro businesses have that ability to be creative and pick up new things and try new strains.
Exactly. The big businesses are only going to sell what they and grow what they know will sell. Yeah. And they'll just keep it that, because they're like, oh, our brand name is surrounded by, the apple fritter strain, or, you know what I mean? So that's exactly it. And where a local grower will be a little bit more lenient, and they'll also take the time. They know what goes into the grow. They know how, that plant behaves. And again, they know what effect it's going to have on you. Whereas, they won't always take the time to do that with bigger grows.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know that you guys went to an event in Buffalo. I know that you want to break down the stigma, but what made you decide we're going to have a carnival? Like, we're going to have a weed carnival.
So we just, I don't know, we're psychotic. So we just had our second kid. and I was on maternity leave. I was an interior designer. I was on maternity leave, and I started to go to the store with my husband, and we just again kept hearing about all sorts of different events going on in Buffalo. And I knew I could do it. I knew with his connections and my, planning ability that we could put something together big.
Mm-hmm.
And we have this friend, Zach, and he actually was in the dunk tank we had a dunk tank for the first carnival, and he was sad in it for that. I'll give him a shout out. He had mentioned something about a carnival. He goes, yeah, this, he goes, you could put on the biggest thing and be like this weed carnival. And I was like, that's fucking genius. Like like hell yes, a carnival. So we kind of went through a bunch of names, and then the person who did our hydro store logo and our mascot and all that, we told him the idea, and he first shot made the Cannabis Carnival logo. And after I saw it, I was like, that's it. That's fucking it. Like that's just everything it was in one. And it was just such a fun play on words. It was something we eventually wanted to, lead up to, having it be a full on, carnival event, that really attracts not just people in New York, but, through other states and travel. And so we knew it would be a captivating name. And again, it way bigger than ever imagined. And it was perfect. And we had one location mapped out. We had one location in the beginning, and it was only 3 acres. And then we started to see the influx of vendors, because back then too, which is sad because I'm talking September back then, it was not easy to get vendors. I mean, like it is today, you could post an event today and you'll have an influx, I'm sure, of, at least a couple dozen vendors. But back in September, Buffalo was the only place doing this. In Queen City, Mayor Buffalo was the only one who had really done it big like that, or that at least that I had seen. And so it was a little bit difficult getting vendors too, because you had to get them to do a sponsorship fee, because we had things we had to pay for, like electricity and porta potties and land and all this. So they had to trust you with their money. They didn't know who you were. So thankfully we had a store to tie us to everything. Like, I think that's what really helped, was that we were a store in general. So we had a backing and we had all that, but it was not easy to get vendors. So at first we literally had 25 vendors, and then something happened. I have no idea. And we just started getting an influx of them. And then it just started, more and more people started talking about it. And then we eventually started having to turn people away, which was just amazing. But we ended with I think 85 vendors at the first carnival. And it was just, there's one article that was written that says we sold 8,000 tickets. And that was never true. I don't know where that came from either, because I was like, we never sold tickets, but we printed out 2,000 flyers and just gave them to vendors, and was like, here. And then it's so funny too, because there was a QR code on the flyer that you scanned the night before, and it would give you the location of where the event was. And for a handful of people, I'm talking a lot of people, that QR code didn't scan. So I'm sitting here having a fucking panic attack, because I'm like, I just planned this huge event, because that's the thing, it's your reputation on the line. It's everything you have planned. And that's what I was worried about. I was like, you have to deliver a crowd for these vendors. Otherwise you didn't do your job. And I think that's what a lot of events are missing nowadays, is that it's very easy to get a small location and get 30 to 50 vendors. It's getting people in the door to make sure that your vendors are seen. That's the most important part. That's all I've ever worried about, is will our vendors be seen? That's it. That's all I wanted to make sure, because otherwise then you fail. Then I think in my eyes you completely fail. So, but that's me. I'm my own worst critic.
Aren't we always?
I'm very tough on myself. It was like 7, I think it was like 7 o'clock. It was late. I mean, it was like 8 o'clock at the winter carnival. And I was walking around. I was like, it's starting to die down. And one of our photographers there, he does a lot of the events photography. And he looked at me and he goes, you think this is dying down? I was like, it is. And he goes, you're psychotic. Like, he goes, you need to go calm down. And I'm like, I don't know about that, man. And it's just like, and then I talked to people at the end of the day and they were like, we sold out. Like, we had to stay. They're like, we had to stay an extra hour and a half because we knew we couldn't get out of the parking lot, and we sold out an hour and a half ago. I'm like, that's fucking insane. Like, that's
great.
Insane to me. Like my husband and I literally teared up when we heard how many people were like, we paid our mortgage for so many months, or we paid off these bills, or you just made our Christmas. Like, that's all we wanted. They got the exposure. You know, we brought people in the door, but after that, they still have to do their thing. And it just goes to show them how good these people are. And they just have to know, our vendors just have to know how good they are and that they can be the best here.
So in these 2 carnivals that you've put on, what has been, if you had to pick one moment that's made you the most proud?
So my husband made me stop for 15 minutes during the winter one and go up in the balcony, and we walked all the way to the end of the balcony at the Main Street Armory, and we just sat in the corner, and I just looked at everybody there and just the aerialists and the still walkers and kind of just everything going on, and it just felt, it's gonna make me tear up a little too. It just felt so wonderful to see everyone of every age and race and ethnicity and style just come together. I mean, anybody you could imagine was there, from 21 to, I had to have seen somebody well over their 70s because he had an oxygen tank with him. Swear to God. People in wheelchairs, people with canes, white, black, I'm Hispanic, Asian, you name it. Every single person was there, from a Fairport mom to, you know, like Panamore goth, you know what I mean? Like, just like crazy stuff. It was just like, that was wonderful just to see the diversity of people brought together and have zero issues at both carnivals. I mean, we had 0 fights, 0 problems because we don't serve alcohol. So there's just no issues. But just honestly seeing it from the top and seeing everybody just so happy with so much smoke around them, and to know that this happened at the Main Street Armory, where I've gone to, like I said, I've gone to well before I was 18, but you know, and to just see it there, I think was what was so monumental.
I mean, it's a Rochester institution, so yeah, absolutely.
It really is. And just that, it's just that cool. It's not like clean and pristine like Blue Cross, you know, it's that stoner vibe. It's, you know what I mean? The Main Street Armory already had that stoner vibe to it. So I was like, this is perfect. This is perfect.
So when somebody comes to your carnival, what do you want them to take away from experience there?
Just happiness. Just honestly, just pure joy in every way. You know, joy from, you know, the vendors they saw and the products they got to saw, as well as just enjoying similar like-minded people being around and just being able to experience something like that. I literally just want people to be happy. And I know, and I take it still very to heart. I know not everyone is going to be happy. And again, we're learning with every single one we go. But yeah, as long as people feel like it was an enjoyable experience at the end of the day, something that they never thought they would experience in their lifetime, that's what I want. And we've heard that a couple times. So that's been nice. Cause again, I never thought I would get to even go to one of these, let alone plan one of these and host it. So that's what it was. I mean, I even remember going to the Queen City one and walking in, and I'm just like, this is the coolest fucking thing ever to just see these vendors. And same thing, everyone's positivity and the music, and it was a beautiful day. And same thing. It's just so much fun. That's all it is. It's just similar people around you, everyone just getting high and enjoying life. That's all it is. That's all it should be about. All life should be about.
So I know you guys have another carnival in the works, but what else is next?
So that's pretty much it. We won't do any small events just because I like to plan. I like to give plenty of promotional time and everything like that. But we plan to do right now, if everything works out, 3 carnivals a year. We'll do, one in the spring, one in the winter, and then our end of summer / fall one, which is in September. So other than that, and then we'll just keep doing those. Our hydro store has been doing, really well, and we just keep boosting up, stuff there. But we have no intentions or plans to, start a dispensary or anything like that. We host vendors, on occasion at our store, and we'll, display them and everything, but we want to shine light to everybody else. We supply venues and events to, do that, and the hydro stores, actually supplies the supplies to grow it all. But, everybody else, they can do all the dispensaries, the grow ops, and this is what we'll stick to. But I mean, shit, again, a year ago, I didn't expect to be sitting here doing this. So who knows what is to come. We would like to eventually take it on the road as well too. But we've had a lot of people reach out to us about different venues in different cities and wanting to, go out there. But I really just want to solidify the name in Rochester and really build it up first, before taking it on the road. Because again, I don't want to have an event and not be able to deliver. And then there goes the name and the reputation. So slow and steady, build it up, and then we'll see where it comes from there. But yeah, we'll definitely interested in taking it on the road in the future.
So what is your personal favorite way to consume cannabis?
Probably, you know what? I'm one of those people who just doesn't care. I love it all. I just if it's during the day, I love a bong. At night, joints. I love the juices lately. THC juice has been huge for me. But I'm not a big edible person. It just doesn't hit me. I don't know if my body is just, I've done tons of research because it makes me very upset. Makes me very upset that edibles don't, but I've read a lot. It's just your body will break it down differently. And so my body just breaks it down too fast, that it digests it too fast. So it doesn't hit my bloodstream. Weirdest thing. I was pretty pissed about it. But I'm sure if I ate a shit ton at once, I'm sure it would affect me. But but we'll see one night when I don't have kids. But other than that, yeah, bong or joint, hand down.
Yeah, and everybody's endocannabinoid system is different. Everybody processes things differently. I mean, there are some people who don't like edibles for the opposite reason, because it hits them way too hard.
Too quickly. Yeah, exactly. So it's just, it's so different from everybody. And there's people who don't like the juice for that same reason, but that juice just gives me just the best body high. Honestly, I love it. It's just like, I'm so like just chill and relax, but I still feel productive. It's wonderful.
That's a nice balance to hit.
It is. It's really nice.
So this has been awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. I have one more question.
Yeah.
But before I get to that, is there anything else you want to add or anything we didn't touch on that you want to say?
Not really. I mean, I just want to say thank you to like everyone who's supported us from the beginning. Because honestly, without the vendors from Buffalo and the vendors from Rochester for the very first carnival, and all of our friends and family, and even the people who attended, this never would have came to fruition. And it honestly is still even so heartwarming to think about what what we have done and to know just the big plans we have for the future for the events. And I'm just so very thankful because without the support, it wouldn't be there.
Mhm. So my last question for you is, what is your favorite fun fact about cannabis?
Oh, fun fact. Okay. So it's a fact, but it kind of is different for, as we just talked about, cannabinoids breaking down your body differently. One thing about cannabis is that, well, it gets very female, but it really helped increase my breast milk.
Mm.
It does not get absorbed into the breast milk to then go through, obviously, to your child, but it does help increase the stimulation. It doesn't work for everybody because I have recommended it to many people, and there were a couple who said it didn't increase it didn't help.
Mhm.
But there was a bunch of other women I know who same thing, it helped increase it. And it's just, again, another wonderful thing that just, if you do the research and take the time to really find it, it'll benefit your life in so many different ways. Because that was something I was super anxious about it too, but I was very open with my doctor and even talked to her about it. And they had little research, but they pointed me into the right directions to make my own research and developments. And it was nice.
Awesome. That's awesome that you were able to talk about it with your doctor too, because so many people, the doctor's just like, nope, don't even bring it up. Don't want to hear anything about it.
Right, exactly. But at the point too, and then I'm like, all right, well then, I spin it in a way, would you rather me do something that, you don't know about, or would you rather try and help give the best advice, knowing that I'm just gonna fucking do it anyways? So I'm gonna try and help point me in the right direction because I'm gonna just do it anyways. That's kind of how I said it. So it's like, just the more help you can give, the better the entire situation will be. I don't think she was too happy about it, but she gave me the information.
It's important to have the conversation because the medical industry is not they don't love it, and they need to get better informed about it. Our doctors, our nurses, they need to have more information about this.
It really, yeah, it definitely does, because it just, like we keep saying, can help in a number of different aspects without having such harsh side effects as a lot of other medication out there. And I think that's the big thing, is that not only does it help, but it doesn't have the extreme side effect as many things out there.
Very true. Well, thank you so much for your time. This has been awesome. I'm so glad to get to chat with another
Yeah.
Rochesterian.
Oh, me too. It was so much fun. And I know about something so fun like cannabis. It was so easy. So much fun. And so easy. Well, yeah, anytime you want to chat, just let me know. Thank you so much.
Thank you.